Welcome to the Mayor's Forum. My guest today on the Mayor's Forum is Marc Friedman. He's our current Township Solicitor, Chairman of the Egg Harbor Township Nature Reserve Committee. Marc is here to tell us about the Nature Reserve and also what it offers to all the Township residents. Welcome.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you for having me here, Mayor. I'm here to talk about the Nature Reserve. It's a unique community park which we opened to the Township approximately 4 years ago. Essentially, it's a 220-acre facility, year-round park, and it offers activities that you can't find necessarily in other parks and other places in the Township. It's located between Zion Road and Schoolhouse Road. We have two entrances there with parking lots. And essentially, the Nature Reserve is comprised of three components. There's an arboretum, which is comprises of a meadow, pavilion, benches, staircases that were constructed by the Eagle Academy. There's a variety of trees. In the meadows, there are insects and a butterfly garden, and it's just a very aesthetically pleasing place to be. Also, we have Eagle Lake. It's a 45-acre lake that ranges in depth from 2 feet to 20 feet. It has islands in it, and we use it for non-motorized boating, such as kayaking, canoes, paddleboard. No swimming. We don't allow swimming there. And finally, there's the Temple Woods tract that the Township purchased a number of years ago. It's 125 acres. It came complete with a trail system of up to 8 miles that were created by ATVs that had traversed the area before. And it has scenic vistas, sledding hill, and when you combine all of those acreage, we're about 225 acres right in the middle of the developments, and we're very proud of having that amenity for the Township.
Tell us a little bit about the history and how this whole thing actually came to be.
Well, we have the components that were put together over a period of time. In 1994, the Arboretum was a tract that was purchased by the Township. Then the Temple tract, which is the wooded area, was purchased by the Township from Temple University. That's where we got its name. It was purchased with funds from the state, county, as well as open space funds from the Township. Mm-hmm. Then there's the lake area that is not only the lake, but there's also it's a former gravel pit, and it has a very interesting history in terms of it being a gravel pit, I think going back to the 60s. You might have been around then, Sonny.
I was around, but I was not on the governing body, I can tell you that.
Okay, but it was a lawful...
I know a lot of people think I'm the guy shaking hands with the Indian on our plaque.
Well, you have been with us for a long tenure, and we very much appreciate that, Sonny. But Eagle Lake came about when the pit owner really went beyond where he was permitted to conduct his activities and started mining it for bringing out gravel for the construction of the Atlantic City High School. And what they found was, as they were driving pilings into the marshes, the pilings kept on sinking, so they needed more and more dirt. And the owner kept on bringing in more and more gravel, but he started mining an adjacent piece of property that was not zoned for gravel operations. It forced the Township into a long legal battle, and at the end of the battle, the Township obtained a judgment. Finally, the Township executed upon the judgment and took the property. And that was really in the middle of the Temple tract and the Arboretum. So we were able to piece those three portions together to create this beautiful park.
I'd like to comment just, you know, that we have ordinances that does not permit land mining any longer. It's been on the books for quite some time. And that was probably the last land mining operation that took place, because all it does is leave a nasty hole in the ground where people come and throw trash and whatever they do. So you've developed this mining of land to build things in Atlantic City, and you've turned it into something really beautiful. And I might like to add, we were strapped with the fact that we had the Atlantic County landfill right in the center of Egg Harbor Township, Ocean Heights Avenue, near Zion Road. And a former township committee decided that they would make that into a golf course. So we've taken two very bad situations, use of lands, and turned it into something really remarkably beautiful and nice for the people of this town.
Yes, it is amazing when you put your mind to it and a little creativity and some money to be able to take a negative, turn it into a positive. When we first came upon this and saw the state that the owner left the property in, it was just a scarred landscape, right, with cliffs and dangerous places. And so it had been closed for a good 10, 15 years until we were ready to make the move. The township first appointed an ad hoc committee.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to ask you about. How was the nature committee put together?
Yes, it was an ad hoc committee. I think it was originally called the Scoville Park Ad Hoc Committee. Townspeople, including myself, from a variety of backgrounds, got together at the appointment of the governing body. We started to develop a game plan as far as what type of activities we wanted to conduct there, what type of activities we didn't want there. And the overall consensus was that we wanted to create a park that was a passive park, that was serene. We didn't want ball fields because the township has enough of those ball fields. We didn't want organized sports there. We just wanted a place where people could go, get some peace and quiet, enjoy the outdoors, and we think that we've done a good job in that respect. Eventually, that evolved into what we now call ourselves as the EHT Nature Reserve Committee.
You want to mention who's on that?
Yes, on the committee, I serve as the chairman, but I have a very capable board, including Steve Nemad, Randy, who's an attorney, Randy Schul, and Bill Crane, who are planners, professional planners. Joe Cafaro is a member of the governing body who has a special interest in...
it's on the screen there, you can...
who has a special interest in environmental issues. Nick Fasola serves on the committee, as well as Nathan Very, who works at the Technical Center and is very instrumental in creation of our website. And Lieutenant Mark Romantino also serves on the board. We work in unison. There's a variety of opinions before we make decisions on the development and the creation of future improvements. Kevin Stetzer also serves on our board. He's with the Board of Education. Excuse me. He's a teacher with the Board of Education, and I think he's our football coach.
He's the head of he's the head coach for the Egg Harbor Township football team. So when the Nature Reserve was first obtained by the township, I know there was many strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities for the location. Can you sort of review some of those?
I like to refer to it as the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Okay.
Because the bad and the ugliness was abundant when we first came upon it. There was broken down machinery, cranes, they had to be removed. There was abundance of garbage and debris and tires in the water, and
that's why I said earlier, we don't need those things in our town.
That's true. The concrete conduits that probably weighed 2-3 tons apiece.
Wow.
It was littered with them. I think up to 75 of them were ultimately removed by the Department of Public Works, and that was quite an effort for them to do that. We enlisted volunteers, over 100 people, from the rec programs, from the school sports teams, the Catawba Club. Church groups were involved in a massive cleanup operation to remove that debris, and that was the first step. The next step was to, once we had a clean canvas, was to see and envision what we can accomplish with improvements to combine these three components, because the basics were there. It was a diversified area of trees and foliage and wildlife and scenic views. As I mentioned before, the trail system had partially been there. So we had the blueprint to create it, and we didn't feel that we wanted to accomplish as much as we could without expending a lot of money, but it took a lot of effort.
Oh yeah.
And so those simple tasks of obtaining a landscaper to be able to groom the trails, to make them more accessible, that's been what we have been working on over the last couple of years now.
So Mark, where does the Nature Reserve stand today in addressing some of those strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities?
I think that the landscaping aspect of it has been a tremendous help. It has helped us to clear the land of sticker bushes. It's to open the area up to make it accessible so that people could see and explore the different things that the reserve has to offer. What you have is we've installed fencing around dangerous areas. We have, with the help of the DPW, sculpted and groomed those cliffs that I had referred to earlier, that not only have prevented some of the dangerous areas or ameliorated some of the dangerous areas, but have stopped the soil erosion that's a major problem. We're very happy with the progress that we've made, and hopefully they're going to continue.
Oh, that's great. Now, Mark, I understand that the high school went out and took some video of the Nature Reserve so that people who are viewing it today could have a better idea of what's available out there.
This is from the Zion Road parking lot as it starts off. You could see that's a beautiful vista that we have there. I'd mentioned the concrete conduits. The ones that they couldn't reach on the islands still remain, and we have a game plan for the removal of them with the Army Corps of Engineers. It's a bird sanctuary that you see a variety of birds that come at different times of the year, different seasons of the year. The lake, if you're a kayaker, it is a peaceful and restful place. You don't have to worry about currents and fighting the currents. And
crocodiles?
No crocodiles, but we have some turtles with big mouths. There are a shoreline that is teeming with life, birds feeding, seabirds, migratory birds. An osprey nest there was constructed by the Catawba Club and placed there. Mr. Jones and his crew has done a great job out there.
Nice.
We also had the Army Corps, not Army Corps, the U.S. Fish and Game. We partnered with them for planting, seeding the area, and you could see that it's really taken off. Staircases have been constructed I'll get into that a little bit later with a grant from the state. And those are really for the purpose of giving you access from the upper perimeter to the lower perimeter where the lake is located.
How about fishes? There's fish in this?
There's fish in the lake. I understand there are bluegill and bass. And,
nice. People go out there and fish?
People do go out there and fish. Our policy is to catch and release. Who's that handsome-looking guy?
Yeah.
No. And so we do encourage people to fish, but do for the sake of the fish population, release them and return them to their habitat. You can
no hunting, right?
No hunting.
How about biking?
Biking is certainly a permitted activity. I do suggest that you use your fat tire bike
right.
Wheels on it. Those tires will be necessary to get yourself through some of the sandy spots. It's a variety of different terrain that you'll be traveling over. These are trees that were part of the state program, No Net Loss. If you recall, the expansion of the parkway resulted in the elimination of a lot of trees in Egg Harbor Township.
Yeah, to cut them down.
Cut them down, and so the state made up for it by allotting to the township a few thousand trees that you'll see planted throughout the township, and we made use of it by getting 250 trees planted in the reserve. And we can't wait to see as they mature and they blossom the different colors that they're going to bring there. This is a shot of the Arboretum. It's looking out over the meadows right now.
The Arboretum, I'll tell you, a name from the past. Janice Hedrick was really a key person that got that started and maintained it.
Yes, and we've picked up on those efforts or those people and have tried to continue that tradition and bringing in more trees and grooming it and making it accessible to the public. We've put in bird feeders, the butterfly garden. You can see the bees buzzing around there.
Yep.
I encourage everybody throughout the county, if you haven't gone, to go there and just take a nice walk. We're open year-round from dusk till dawn, and it's just a way to get away from it all. Very peaceful, very relaxing.
How many acres is that lake again?
45. It does fluctuate. It is really dependent upon what the high water mark levels are.
So it does expand with the tide?
Yeah, with the high water mark, yes.
Okay.
As that goes up and down, we really have no
it's not
control over it.
It's not tidal.
It's not tidal. There's
Okay.
no river or brook that feeds it.
Right.
It was part of the mining operation that the gentleman dug too low. The amount of people that go there is ever increasing. I go past the parking lot, I'm at the reserve a lot, and you just see more and more people going year-round. People are on the lake, they're kayaking, they are jogging through the woods, walking. Dog walking is a very popular activity there. Some of the other activities that I see going on there is people are taking pictures of scenic photography. People are bird watching and exploring different places of the reserve, which is very encouraging. I see family outings going there, sunbathing, people going there for pictures. And you know what? When you encounter people in this type of setting, in this type of environment, they're just friendlier.
Oh,
they're
sure.
more relaxed. You get the
hello, how are you?
You know, and you don't get that in many places.
Right.
So I think it has a positive effect on people's mental outlook.
That's great. Now, it's a wonderful time of the year now to take a walk and and enjoy it. But there is season changes. And what type of changes do you take place there in the reserve?
As mentioned before, it's a year-round facility. There is everything from fishing during fishing season to sledding during the winter. We'll get hundreds of people,
oh, really? Yeah.
hundreds of kids and parents that are in a place that is a safe environment for them to sled and hike through the woods during the winter months, as well as the summer and season between. This is the nicest time of the year to go. When it comes time for hiking, and a lot of people are concerned about, ticks and chiggers and things like that, and that's the reason why it's very important for us to keep the trails groomed, to keep them nice and wide, so that you're not walking through underbrush or high grasses to avoid that. And if you stick to the trails, you'll have no problem.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that the committee has reached out and obtained a grant. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, in concert with the Township Committee, the Nature Reserve put in an application for a state grant. It's through the Trails program. They don't give many of those out. I think something like 10 to 15 are awarded per year. 2 years ago, our application was accepted, and we received $26,000 from the state in a grant. The township had to match that with $6,000 worth of goods or services, and we used that money very judiciously with the assistance of the township administration to create a number of improvements throughout the facility. For instance, we've created staircases, probably about 4 or 5 of them that allow you easier access. We've created 2 boat ramps, so that when people are launching their kayak, they don't have to walk in the into the lake and into the mud of the base of the lake. We've created a switchback, which we're very proud of, taking a cedar tree and driving rebarb that allows you to make your way up to the arboretum. So these are little gems that you'll find if you search for them along the trails.
That's great. Now, you mentioned the grant, and there is other ways of helping the Nature Reserve fund improvements. Is that correct? I know you had some races and...
Yes. Well, we've had the Turkey Trot is our one and only annual event that we fundraise. That happens on the Saturday following Thanksgiving. We'll be having our 5th annual one this year. In years past, we've had participants for both the run as well as the fun walk of over 125 to 150 people. We hope to increase that more this year. With the help of Atlanticare, that's being a major sponsor of our event this year.
Oh, nice.
We accept charitable contributions. We are now starting to roll out park benches, and the ability to not only acquire the park bench, but also to put a plaque to recognize perhaps a loved one, Girl Scout troop, whatever your pleasure is. And we may also utilize those plaques for creating a recognition of along the base of a tree. You might have seen in certain places that there's a stone with a memorial plaque on it. These are other fundraiser activities, but mostly we rely upon volunteer efforts. We just had a young man who is a Eagle Scout who, on his own, with monies that he raised, erect a flagpole for posting of an American flag in the Arboretum. I encourage everybody to come out and visit it, because it is really, it shows you what type of voluntary effort can amount to. Other than that, if you want to donate to the Nature Reserve or are interested, whether it's individuals or businesses, you could go to our website, which is at ehtnaturereserve.org. There's a email that you're able to send to us and let us know who you are and how you would like to contribute.
Great. And you mentioned kayaking. I always, how deep's that lake?
The lake, it was always a big question how deep it was. And so we had one of our members, Mr. Nathan Vary, actually got in a rowboat and with a small motor, a GPS, as well as a depth finder, and crisscrossed his way through the entire lake to map out the bottom of the lake.
Wow.
And he did create a picture that shows you the bottom of the lake, and we found that at its deepest points, where you can see there in blue, it goes up to 18 to 20 feet.
Wow.
And we suspect that that is where our former mine excavator went the deepest until he hit the water. It used to be a little puddle, and the puddle has grown as the high water mark.
Is the lake growing?
I think the lake is at its maximum in terms of the fluctuation. You know, I would say that probably somewhere ranges 4 to 5 feet in increasing in that level. We even have a depth marker that you can monitor and see how the lake increases in size.
Mark, so the audience can get an idea, I think you did take an overview aerial video. Can you explain that?
Yes, a drone was utilized to take these pictures, and it's really remarkable on just how you can enjoy it from above.
The blue area is the deepest?
The bluish is, yes, deepest. You see the green there, that is our sledding hill. These are the various islands that are there. It gives you a perspective of just the vastness of the size of it, but it also helps us utilize this as a tool to continue with our development efforts. We're hopeful that we can make additional improvements both for safety as well as enjoyment. Part of our plans are to create a observation deck that juts out into the water.
How much of the temple area are we using?
We are using the practically the entire tract, which extends all the way to English Creek Avenue. There are a couple of, there is a sizable piece that's on the other side of the high tension lines, that there are a couple of trails through there. We don't really want to expand our trail system too much more than it already is, because we don't want to drive wildlife away. This is a nature reserve, and so the object is to try to give nature an opportunity to thrive, and yet at the same time allow the public to see it, enjoy it, and be one with nature, as some would say.
Well, Mark, thanks for being here. It's really interesting. It was a long time coming. You've been involved with it since day one. You live near it. I know you enjoy it. I would hope that our residents who are not aware of this wonderful feature we have here in Egg Harbor Township have an opportunity to get out there and explore it and understand what a wonderful thing has been developed. And also, I want you to let your committee know how much I appreciate the work, the time and effort they put into it to really make this something that's going to be something that not only is Egg Harbor Township going to be proud of, like Birch Grove Park in Northfield, but I think the people of Atlantic County and the southern part of the state are going to really, when they find out about it, it's going to be a nice place to come and relax and enjoy nature in its perfect setting. So, Mark, again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Give my regards to the committee. And if you have a thought, folks, on a show that you might enjoy watching on the Mayor's Forum, please do not hesitate to call 926-4044 and give us your ideas, and we will certainly consider them. So again, Mark, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the show.